And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'm back with the top 10 players under 50k MT in NBA 2K21 My Team. So all these guys are extreme mid-budget options. I don't call them complete budget players because I don't think 50k is necessarily like budget tier in NBA 2K21 My Team for the average player. For a lot of us, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like a budget guy, but for the majority of the player base, 50k is not a budget. So I would call him like a mid-tier budget guy. So before we get to the actual top 10, I'm going to take some honorable mentions off the board. One of those honorable mentions is a card that I like quite a bit, and I'm usually not a big fan of him in 2K, and that's Kyle Kuzma. Now, it's looking like you can get Kyle Kuzma for, if not right around 25k, slightly under. Maybe 23, 22, right around 20, basically. Great card. There's really nothing he can't do. You can even find some with like shoes and even unlimited contracts for right around that price. Now, there's none with unlimited contracts up right now, but shoes, there definitely are some for right around like a solid budget price, like 29.35, and it's a 3-point shoe. Relatively solid. Also boosts up his steal and stuff like that too. His interior defense, his block. Altogether, pretty solid card that you can pick up for 29k. Like I said, he can do everything. He can play the power forward and the small forward pretty well. I think he has a dynamic duo with Caruso, but it is what it is. Next up is another guy that I think is like a pretty good mid-tier option, and that would be RJ Barrett. Like, he's a really solid 2-guard. He's got the same SIGs as Terry Dissinger, so he's got that same Rudy jump shot that's really clean. Downsides to this card is he does move kind of weird, and his 6'6 player build looks smaller than 6'6. Like, if you put him next to Vince Carter, that they're pretty much the same size on paper, RJ Barrett will still look a little smaller. I don't really know what's up with that. Altogether, I mean, he's overall super solid. 94 3-point shot, 95 driving dunk, 86 ball handle, which honestly doesn't really mean anything because he has the dribble badges necessary. The 79 pass accuracy is pretty much the only thing I would say is a negative for this card. 92 perimeter defense isn't great. I mean, he's a Thibodeau coached shooting guard. I feel like his perimeter defense at this stage should be a little higher. 94 speed doesn't really matter either. Altogether, a super solid card, but there are enough downsides to keep him out of the top 10. Same with the next guy. I mean, he's very similar to RJ Barrett, just with a different jump shot. I think it's worse personally, is Jaylen Brown. He's better statistically in a few different things. Like RJ Barrett has a +2 driving dunk, but it doesn't really that doesn't matter. 95 3-point shot as opposed to a 94 doesn't really matter either. He's a better passer with a better ball handle, which, like I said, ball handle, I truly don't think it really matters that much. Once it's above an 86, I think that's really all you need to look at. That's a personal thing, though. 95 perimeter defense, so he's a little bit better on the perimeter. He's a little bit faster. Jaylen Brown's solid. He kind of has a similar thing to RJ Barrett, where 6'6 just kind of looks smaller, but he has that little flat top, so it makes him look a little bit bigger. Altogether, he's super solid. The one thing I will say about Jaylen Brown, and the reason I have him next to RJ Barrett in the honorable mentions, is his jump shot seems to miss a lot of whites, it's a pain, and it can be. Our final honorable mention, I was going to include Inferno T-Mac in here, but A, he went back over 50k, and B, as much as I love T-Mac, I don't think he's necessarily worth it when guys like Jaylen Brown and RJ Barrett exist, who are arguably better at this stage. But Charles Oakley would be the final honorable mention. Look, he's not bad at all. You can get him right around 20k, sometimes even lower. I've seen him down close to 15, even close to 10 over the past couple days, so he's an extreme budget card. 6'9" at the power forward position is not terrible. I wouldn't play him at the center. That's just me. Altogether, super solid. 92 3-pointer for a big man is good at this stage. 90 driving dunk. The 86 ball handle is ideal for any big man you're going to be running. 92 steal with a 92 block. Really good. He can play both the perimeter and the interior, so it just kind of depends what your opponent is doing. He's versatile in that way. 93 speed on current gen is very median. It's fine. On next gen, because he's 6'9", he's going to feel faster than 93. It's just kind of how it is. Elite tendencies, elite badges. His jump shot's pretty good. I mean, I wish they would have upped his badges a little bit. The badges they gave him are fine. But he does, a few of them could have been Hoff that aren't necessarily, but he does have Hoff range, Hoff quick first step, Hoff tight handles, unpluckable. Green Machine on next gen, obviously he's got a bunch of other ones, but like he only has gold corner specialist, which I don't think is the biggest deal. He has gold dimer at a big man, which is fine. Interceptor, he can play the interior pretty well, handles for days. He has gold flexible. As far as badges he's missing, I don't remember exactly what rhythm shooter is. I think it's, what is it, volume shooter? Yeah, he doesn't have that, which is surprisingly kind of an important badge. When you don't have it, you notice it. Same with like Deadeye, Hot Zone Hunter, and Clutch Shooter, which are badges that you're definitely going to want to put on him. But other than that, great card. Number 10 is a card I'm honestly kind of surprised about. I'm both surprised and not surprised since this diamond was pretty good, and that's Kobe White. Now, 6'5" is pretty much what a lot of people would consider the cutoff for how small you want to run a point guard at this point with the massive point guards that we have available. But you can get this dude for around 15 to 20K, somewhere around that. Kobe White does look a shade bigger than 6'5". Like, he looks about as big as RJ Barrett does. So, but 94 three-pointer, he's got a pretty solid jump shot. The 85 driving dunk isn't great, but it's not terrible. Like, it's really not. 95 ball handle, 94 pass accuracy, so he plays well as a point guard, which is completely different than how he plays in real life, because he does not play good as a point guard in real life at all. 92 steal, 93 perimeter, with an 82 interior defense too, so I'm not saying he's going to do well against the god tier large point guards, but he can at least kind of try to hold his own. Like, jump shot 80 is the one he has, which is the same release as Anthony Edwards and Kyle Kuzma, and my boy Michael Bridges, who I'll talk about on my next list. Really solid jump shot. I personally think so anyway. But altogether, just a really very okay point guard if you want to run someone for a little bit until a card that you really want comes out. This is the guy. Next up, number 9, a card that's definitely getting outdated and we're going to get an upgraded version of. If it's not Andre Karolinko, we'll get a reskin on somebody else, similar to what happened with Danny Ferry pretty soon. And that, yeah, obviously Andre Karolinko. He's still good though. Like, for this price point, he's still a very usable card. Plus, you can find a lot of them at this price point with both shoes and badges. Like, this one's 36K and it's got some sort of Grinch on it. I'm not sure which one. Looks like it's ball handle, driving dunk. Yeah, not the greatest speed. Other than that, I mean, you're looking at 36K for this one. It's got unlimited contracts, unlimited shoes, so you can find a lot of those. This one buffs 3-point rating and ball handle, so you can find elite versions of this guy. And if you're a big fan of base 98 or Dwayne Wade base, he's probably essential, and he's still very usable at this point. I will say he's much better on next gen than current gen, just because he has that Hoff blinders or a steady shooter. Penny Hardaway would be the number 8 spot. He's good. Like, he's definitely going to be outdated quite soon. But, you know, this price for a 6'7" point guard with a pretty good jump shot, he's got that Brandon Ingram base, which I like a lot. He can run the floor. Defensively, he is not the best, but because of his player build, and you can add the defensive badges necessary to make him elite at stopping, not post cheese, but rim running giants, at least to a certain extent. He can definitely, contain them a little bit. And this is another card, because he's a bit outdated and everyone's selling off all their old cards. You can pick up a version of him that has additional badges, shoes, contracts. Like, this one's 49K with an unlimited contract and some sort of Grinch on him. Super solid. And my man's from Memphis, so you know he likes 3-6. Either way, great card altogether. I still use him occasionally. Granted, he has found his way out of my main lineup at this point, just because I like Oscar Robertson and another guy on this list a lot more, but still, super good card. Number 7 is a card that I'm honestly shocked he's as good as he is, because I really didn't think he was going to be this good. Point guard Larry Bird from OOP 2. Look, I did not think a point guard Larry Bird was going to hold it down like this, but my man is nasty. Also, look at him. Just look at him. You're telling me you don't want to run this man at point guard with that Billy Ray Cyrus mullet and that sick, dirty little mustache? So tight. They picked the perfect Larry Bird picture, because this guy just doesn't look like he should be able to hoop at the level he hoops, but he does. Altogether, pretty immaculate card. I mean, he does everything pretty well. Like, on next gen, he moves well because he's 6'9", and he can play defense on the bigger point guards. Like, I'm not saying he's going to stop a Ben Simmons or a Giannis, but he might be able to stop him a couple times, more so than someone like Kobe White will be able to. He's pretty good. He has pretty much every badge that you want. He's going to be better on next gen because he has that Hoff blinder. So on current, he's going to have Hoff steady shooter. So that's why he's lower on the list. He would be higher if he didn't have blinders, to be honest with you, just because I'm not doing this list based on just next gen or just current gen. But it's always better for a card to not have blinders, if that makes sense, because you can just apply it to it on next gen, and the card's still usable even if you don't have it. But on current gen, steady shooter will kind of hurt the card, especially with the amount of whites that go in. Having any card that makes less whites is going to be kind of a pain. Number 6 is a card that I'm much higher on than probably a majority of the content creation space, and that's Rudy. Rudy's beast, silky smooth jump shot, huge player build. He can play both power forward and small forward. Everything I said about Kyle Kuzma, I feel goes double for Rudy because he's just significantly better. Initially, when the two cards came out, I was kind of like torn on them, like, oh yeah, they're pretty much the same. But as time's gone on, like, I feel Rudy is significantly better. And I think it just has a lot to do with me being more comfortable with his jump shot than Kuzma's. Number 5 is a card that personally I don't think is incredibly good, but I can't deny that out of position Ben Simmons for the price he's going for, a shade over 10K, so he doesn't quite make the best cards under 10K list. Yeah, that's a really good price. I mean, he's got 40 Hoff badges, 25 golds, 65 total badges. I mean, he's Ben Simmons, so he's 6'10". He can't play point guard, but he is really good at the small forward. I don't recommend playing him at center because he gets out rebounded pretty frequently. Now, the 85 three-point shot isn't terrible. With a coach and a shoe, it goes up to the 90s, which is fine. 95 driving dunk. He can run as an additional ball handler, and you can always switch him onto a Giannis or a Ben Simmons if need be. And he plays excellent defense. 90 perimeter, 90 interior. I wish it was higher, but with his player build, it really doesn't matter. 96 speed, he's going to run the floor. Dude is elite, like, no question about it. Though I think people are a little too high on this card personally. He's still really good. Now we're in the top 5. So our number 4 pick is one of my favorite cards in the game, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is an elite point guard option that kind of got forgotten about. Only 6'6", but he looks bigger than that. There's no question about it. He looks about the same size as Penny Hardaway. Either way, dude is elite at everything. He's still my backup point guard on my main squad because I like this card so much. His jump shot is a little awkward, so if you play with meter off, it does take a little bit to get used to, but if you use the pink diamond earlier in the year, you're going to be very accustomed to it. Here's hoping we get a new Lonzo Ball card in the near future because he'll be my point guard for the rest of the year if we do, because I really like Lonzo this year. Number 3 is a card that, once again, I'm not personally the greatest with, but I recognize how good the card is, and that is Opal Josh Smith. Opal Josh Smith is a budget LeBron, essentially. Jump shot timing's pretty similar, player build extremely similar, like they look very similar in game, about the same height, about the same width. He's a beast. I don't like him really at the point guard, but at the shooting guard position, he's a monster. Like, he plays elite level defense, pretty good three-point shooter. He dunks on almost everybody. He can handle the ball and pass a bit, but he plays lockdown defense with that wide player build. He's going to trigger those, kind of animations where you stop people from going around you pretty frequently. And he sets immaculate screens, which if you run a lot of screens and speed boosting on current gen, like, that's a card you're definitely going to want right here. Just because having someone at the guard position that sets screens as well as Josh Smith does for certain playstyles is elite. Like, it's probably better for certain playstyles than even like an Invincible T-Mac or, like Invincible T-Mac, any of these T-Mac cards. Like, he's probably better than even some of the small forwards like a Kawhi or something like that for certain playstyles. He's a beast. Number 2, you could argue that these two need to be flip-flopped, and I would totally get that. You could argue Josh Smith should be number 1, but Jonathan Isaac is still a god. Huge badge count. Like, you can find ones with upgraded badge counts and Grinches for like 40, under 50K, which is crazy. Like, there's no reason you should be selling that Jonathan Isaac right there for 48K. Like, no. Like, you might as well just keep him at that point. Like, it's not worth it. You put 3 additional Hoff badges on him, and you gave him like a 30K shoe. No question you should be selling. Like, you should not be selling that for 48K. You shouldn't sell it, period. Like, this one put an additional like KD probably 3-point shoe on him and a couple Hoff badges and selling them for 36K. There's no point. I might even pick up one of these guys and just sell my Jonathan Isaac just so I have like a better version of him. If there's one with unlimited contract and an unlimited shoe for under 40K, I'm definitely doing it. But Jonathan Isaac is a beast. If you like to speed boost and curry slide, especially if you play TTO, this is going to be your guy. You can play him at both the power forward and the small forward. Granted, if someone's like a post player, they might kill you a little bit, but I mean, realistically, they probably won't. Jonathan Isaac's long enough where he can block the occasional shot. They might get some buckets on you, but he'll hold it down enough. He rebounds pretty well. He does get rebounded pretty often, though, just because of his small player build. That is something that happens. But this dude is an elite TTO card, and he's pretty good and limited as well. Number one, honestly, you could put Josh Smith, you could put Isaac here, you could even reach down to like AK-47 or Penny Hardaway or Larry Bird and put him here depending on your playstyle. But for my money, this is the best card you can buy for 50K and under. Eddie Jones. This card got zero love when he came out. I don't know why either. It probably has a lot to do with a lot of people didn't pick this card up because his XP challenge had involved getting blocks with a shooting guard, which is just not good. And he was 6'6", so he's not elitely tall or anything like that. I don't think elitely is a word, but you know what I'm saying. It's fine. This card is no joke though, man. 95 three-pointer, 95 driving dunk, some of the best steal animations in the game, 93 ball handle, 90 pass accuracy, 96 steal, 96 perimeter defense with an 82 interior, 93 speed, which isn't great, but it's very doable, 97 lateral quickness. If you remember the Diamond Eddie Jones, he has 100 block shot tendency. For a two guard, that's insane. Like, that's great. 95 shot contest, 99 on-ball steal, 98 pass intercept, 5 foul tendency, which is fine, 5 hard foul, which is okay. He will get the occasional flagrant, but it's once every, like, X amount of games. It's very little. He doesn't take charges either, which on current gen is good. On next gen, you do actually get the charge calls pretty decently, so, you know, it depends how you play defense, I suppose. Great badge count as well. He has pretty much every badge you'd really need from the card and what he's going to do. Clamps, Heart Crusher, Interceptor, Intimidator. He's one of the most complete cards in this game, and you can get him for 50K. This dude can go toe-to-toe with Opal Kobe's. Even an Invincible T-Mac is going to have problems scoring on Eddie Jones because he's that good defensively. The one thing I will say is I'm glad they did give him more, you know, ball handling statistics and stuff like that, but he is going to be more of a 3-and-D cone. But you can use them for other things. But if you're looking for a pure 3-and-D cone for your team and you have ball handling all around him, not to say he cannot handle the ball, he's got fine dribble moves, everything's okay with this card. It's just, it feels weird. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's Eddie Jones and I know how he plays. But this card is absolutely elite, and I'd be willing to say he is a better value for 50K than any of the cards on this list. The only downside is you're probably not going to find too many with like unlimited contracts and unlimited shoes, because frankly, not many people picked this card up in the first place. But I love this card to the point where I'm almost considering just selling Paul George and just running Eddie Jones instead, because I like this card that much. So, also, Eddie Jones is one of the best releases in the game, no question, especially off the catch and shoot. Besides Klay Thompson, might be the best release in this game off the catch and shoot, and off the jump shot, it's similar to base 98 with how good it is. So, with that being said, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes. I hope you liked this video. I hope it helped you make some decisions. I'm hoping you're thinking about picking up Eddie Jones because he's a beast, by the way. Yeah, he has jump shot base 31, which is the same as like Sadiq Bey, Moses Malone, even back to the Diamond Eddie Jones, and it's elite on very quick. It really is. Anyways, check out the description for all my stuff, and I'll be back with more content later. I appreciate all you guys. Peace out.